Hey Crusaders, 20 is a bit of a strange age in my opinion. 18 in England is when you really become an adult. 21 in America seems to be the big deal. 20? I'm not in my teens anymore, but what is there to this age other than waiting around for a year to be officially 21? Well, I do feel like 20 is a bit of a landmark, particularly in terms of reading. 20 years, it doesn't really sound like a lot of years, really, to be around, all things considered, but think about how much our reading has changed in the first 20 years of our lives. Probably won't change much between 20 and 30 for me, because I already read adult books, but you know, between 0 and 20 you are always improving in your reading. So today I just thought I would look back at 19 books that have shaped my reading. So these books are old favourites and really important books in my reading progression over the years. Some of them are a little bit strange, but all of them have a really deep place in my heart. So I'm not so skilled as to put a book onto each age and know that I read that book at that age. So these are just 20 books that I will tag onto different ages, but they may not necessarily have been read at that age. So for one, I went with the Miffy books. Such fantastic memories of having Miffy read to me when I was younger, and when my dad used to read me a book at night, any book it was, whatever book it was, he would open up the book and start, "Little Miffy one fine day was early out of bed," and I used to get so annoyed because he did it every single time, but it's a good memory now, it's a funny memory now. Number 2 is gonna have to go to We're Going on a Bear Hunt. I just had to pick one book like that, and We're Going on a Bear Hunt, I think it edges The Tiger Who Came to Tea, because memories guys, we all have memories. It's a good one. Number 3 is going to go to this set of books, and it is the Beatrix Potter collection. Just some short examples here. We've got The Tale of Peter Rabbit, The Tale of Mrs. Tittlemouth, The Tale of Two Bad Mice, and The Tale of Squirrel Nutkin. Oh, I love Squirrel Nutkin. And I've got quite a few sets of these things, and I loved them all. I really enjoy reading Beatrix Potter books. I think Beatrix Potter is just a quintessential part of being an English child, and beautiful illustrations, beautiful books, love them so much. Number 4 on this list goes to a rather unusual book of the bunch, and that is this book of children's party cakes by Carol Handslip. The story behind this book, and I feel like one of the main things I should mention about this book, is I don't think we ever made a cake from it, but every night at one point in my life, every night I would get my dad to read this book to me. Not really a bedtime story, looking at cakes, but we used to play a game. We used to play a game, a really ridiculous game, where every time we would guess what was coming next. So this cake, which is kind of scary, this cake is a Madeira, and then we'd guess whether the next cake was going to be Madeira or Victoria's Sandwich, and the next one's Madeira again, and then I'd be like, Victoria's Sandwich, and then, oh, that's a sponge cake, and then it was like Madeira, and it would just be like the one to guess it right, or the first one to shout the name of the cake. It was a really strange game, but we loved it so much. I think I memorised the order the cakes came in, but also look at kind of how ridiculously amazing these cakes look. Like, I don't know if anyone has the skills to make these 90s cakes, but there's an Esso tanker. Oh, I can't even remember what my favourite cakes were, but there are some pretty awesome cakes in here. Oh, doesn't that just sum it up? Doesn't that just sum up childhood? A cake made in the shape of a Walkman. I mean, to be fair, it gives you step-by-step instructions, so I really ought to try making one of these again sometime, and then showing you how it goes. Well, there's an idea for a future video, isn't there, Victoria? No, I wanted to show you this bus because look, it's a beautiful bus by the way, but look what it says. that Les Miserables is playing at the Palace Theatre, which is, I think that's pretty fantastic, so I just thought that was great. Number 5 is going to go to all things Dick Kingsmith. We're talking the Sophie books, you know, Sophie's Sick, Sophie's Tom, Sophie's whatever is Sophie, Sophie's what, just Dick Kingsmith. I'm going to give number 6 to another quirky book, and that is 1001 Things to Spot on the Farm, because again it was one of those books that I made my dad play with every night. It's pretty fun actually. So you just, obviously you get your seed and you have to spot like 8 lambs, 10 poppies, but then we also played like a can you find the person reading and things like that, and so I love this book too. We also one time counted the oranges and lemons which took an age. Number 7, Winnie the Pooh. Nothing needs to be said. Number 8 is going to go to the Magic Faraway Tree series by Enid Blyton. Oh my gosh, incredible. I have so many memories of reading those at night time. A chapter a night, that's the way I used to read books. I'm going to give 9 to Horrid Henry. I only seem to have one Horrid Henry book knocking around now. I think this was one of the later ones. I loved Horrid Henry, so we'll just give it to number 9, even though I don't really know what age I was when I read them. We will give number 10 to Roald Dahl, because who doesn't love Roald Dahl? I particularly love George's Marvellous Medicine, and I had that one on cassette tape as well, and it was fantastic. They even sung like all the I think I'm going to reread the Twits now that I've seen it. Just, yeah, all of fun. I'm going to give 11 to Jacqueline Wilson. If I had to name one, I'm going to give it to Midnight. I listened to Midnight again and again and again. I really loved that one. Something magical about it with the fairies and betrayal. Just betrayal. I'm going to give number 12 to A Series of Unfortunate Events, because it took a while for all of them to come out, and so it was stretched out over my childhood. So A Series of Unfortunate Events really is my childhood. When I think of my childhood, I think of these Baudelaire orphans and their trials and tribulations. Number 13 has to be Twilight, only I don't own the first book, so I'm holding up Eclipse because I think it was my favourite, because there was a character in it called Victoria, but not only because there was a character in it called Victoria. I think any teenage girl growing up at my age read Twilight and loved Twilight and jumped on the Twilight bandwagon with the movie franchise. I mean, I've got all the films. I actually really love Twilight, just for all of its flaws. It was addictive and I had to know what happened next, so it's got to be on this list. Number 14 goes to the George and Nicolson series. Angus Fongs and Full Frontal Snogging, It's Okay I'm Wearing Really Big Knickers, just all of them. I read all of them. They were really funny. Everyone wanted to be George's friend. Number 15 has to go to Kill a Mockingbird. This was the first classic I read apart from children's classics. I I asked for it for Christmas and I adored it, so this started me on a classic love. So To Kill a Mockingbird definitely gets it at number 15. Number 16 goes to The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, one of my top 2 favourite books of all time. I got bought this for my 16th birthday and it's stuck with me. I reread it and I love it. So number 16, The Catcher in the Rye. Don't talk about this as much as I thought I would, to be honest. Number 17 goes to a book that I don't have because I read it on my Kindle, because 17 was the age of reading everything on the Kindle and not reading any physical books. And that would be A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. Again, this is another one of my favourite books I really don't talk about enough. I wrote about this book in my personal statements to get into university and went well. Number 18 goes to Narcopolis by Jit Tahil. Oh and this is making the list because of the Man Booker. This was the first book I read which started me on my love of the Man Booker Prize. I read it when my school book club was chosen to give our views to on the shortlist. It was really good fun. We got all of the books and I really loved that experience. So Nicolson was the first one I read, so that's why Nicolson is here. Number 19. If you can't guess what number 19 is going to be, then you've not been here for very long, because number 19 is The Privilege of the Sword by Ellen Kushner. Because, yeah, fantasy. 19 was the age of discovering fantasy and discovering this glorious, glorious, glorious book. Mwah. And number 20 is yet to be decided. This was such great fun to do, and now I am going to set you a challenge. I don't care what your age is, I want to see everyone give this a go, even if you're 60. I mean, I know that would be a much longer video, but it would be fantastic. So if you can, look back and pick a book for each year of your life, even if that book doesn't really go with that year of your life as much as maybe it would. That would be really great. I'd absolutely adore watching those. I mean, I might even tag some people down below to really force them to do this, although you don't have to share your age if you don't want to. I think it's really interesting to see the progression of reading that happens with people, because I mean, when I was 14 or 15 I read a lot of like romances like Sophie Kinsella and people like that, and then suddenly it was like bam, all of these books came to me, and then when I was like 17 and 18 it was all about diverse reading, and I read so many books from different cultures which I really want to get back. So this was very fun to do, and it's amazing how quickly your reading tastes can change. That is it for me for today. Thank you for watching this video. I will be here with another video soon. Until that time, look in the shadows, guys.